Destiny debating. Oh, you know, I'm so stinking bad with names. Trying to get my mic up there. If I can get my mic up there, I can stand in the back and hold it up. Hold up my camera. Excuse me.
Have a legitimate asylum case and then enter illegally, not go to port of entry. If you have a legitimate asylum case, you can adjudicate that in the United States with temporary protected status in the United States. You don't have to sit in Mexico and wait for your asylum case.
Why would they go for asylum over a TPS?
Why would they go for asylum over TPS? Because asylum is much easier to seek in the United States and then be granted TPS, right? When
exactly.
let me ask you this. When the individual enters the United States and is seeking asylum, what do they grant?
What do they grant them?
Yeah, while they adjudicate their case.
Are you going to talk about how they issue them a receipt to show up at their case? And you're talking about catch and
They give
release?
them temporary protected status, right?
Because they're waiting for their case to be adjudicated.
Of course, yeah.
So it would have been nice if we had more judges to adjudicate these cases, like that border bill would be nice.
It would be nice, like we have right now, a 99.8% reduction in the amount of individuals not only crossing the boundary,
So the
coming to the.
So the number's not true. Just to be clear, the number's not real.
Yeah, those are real, but it's fine. It's the usual step. First, it's not real. Then it's real, but it's not actually happening.
To get rid of the 5 or 10 million asylum seekers that are already in the United States.
He's trying every legal means that he can possibly can.
So nothing. There's a million.
Well, he try and enact an Aliens Enemies Act to remove individuals out of the country with limited due
That was
process
only
and no
people
due process.
from Venezuela, and that act requires us to be at war with the country.
Did he just win
invaded us, which is probably not true.
Well, okay, but there's actually a really detailed article about.
To be clear, there's absolutely no detailed argument about how that can work. The only way that it does is to confound basically the gangs with the actual Venezuelan government, and say because they have some members that are inside the government that it constitutes an invasion.
About how the Venezuelan government, the Maduro regime,
Strangely,
trained the paratroopers to come to the United States, go to various states in the United States. Again, I don't really give a shit about that.
Oh, I thought you said you're kind about policy and rule of law. I do.
Clearly you don't, because you don't think that 15,000 people coming into the country illegally on a daily basis is not a problem.
I did think it was a problem. That's why I supported the bill.
Well, you just said,
but I prefer to have legislation from Congress for immigration rather than just executive orders from the president.
Do
you think executive orders are better, or do you think legislation from Yorkers? Like, what do you think? Well, no, because you just keep. It's like a quiz. I'm curious. Do you think that it would have been better to pass the bill, or just do you think to be executive action?
I think it's better to deter when it comes to a crisis.
Is it better to have comprehensive border legislation or an executive order that can be decided by
there is a crisis? You deter the crisis from happening, and once you don't have a crisis anymore, you can focus on reforming the immigration law.
So if after 4 years, if Trump doesn't have an immigration bill, do you think that would have been a failure of this
I
administration?
think that if they don't reform the asylum and close the loopholes when it comes to asylum now that we don't have the crisis in the southern border, I think that'll be a failure by the administration. Absolutely. But it's a whole.
Then we'll wait and see what happens in 4 years when they don't have another border bill.
Oh, we'll come back here in about 3 years. I just want to end this to ask you one more time. When 15,000 people are entering the country on a daily basis, what is the primary issue? Is it once they're in the country, or them actually coming to the border from all over the world?
The way you're phrasing your question, it sounds like you're alluding to the fact that there could be the issues the country of Mexico faces due to destabilization on the border because of all the different presence of crime and people who are paying for passage, or is there another quiz?
I'm asking you, what is the primary issue?
It depends on which interested party you're talking about.
I don't care about parties, I'm asking you. I'm not asking
me. It doesn't matter to me at all. It's not affecting me.
Who am I debating?
Well,
I'm debating you about immigration, right? So I'm asking you, when you have 15,000...
you're asking me what is the primary issue?
You said that there is a crisis.
You asked me what the primary issue was, and I asked you as per which interested party. Because different parties have different prerogatives.
I don't care about parties, I'm asking you.
How can you be evaluated? Okay, from me,
yeah,
I'm a rich person that lives in the United States, and I don't care. It doesn't affect me.
Why don't you care?
Because it doesn't have a personal negative impact on my existence.
Do you have any friends that died from fentanyl or something?
My family's from Cuba, so I'm a big fan of illegal immigration, I guess, when it comes to getting to the...
I mean, my parents are from USSR. I'm from Israel. I came into the country illegally. I can't stand illegal immigrants because they have used.
I said illegally. A lot of my family came illegally. Well, I guess for directly maybe it was legal, but I don't know. I don't know. What are you trying to railroad me to? I guess.
I'm trying to understand what do you believe in when it comes down to illegal immigration? Because you said you oppose.
What do I personally believe in? I think that borders are important. I think that knowing everybody who's here is important. I mean, having illegal immigrants is just bad, obviously. Definitionally, they're illegal. I think that trying to find a way to reduce the overall amount of illegal immigrants in the country, I think would be a beneficial thing, and I think reducing the amount of people that can get into the country illegally also be a beneficial thing. I think on
Sounds
the
like a
back,
Trump supporter to me also.
well, but on the backside of that, well, one, Trump isn't doing anything really to alleviate anything here. He's wasting a ton of money on theatrics that are probably going to make everybody hate
Like what?
immigration. Like the horse march through MacArthur Park recently, I think was really bad. The invocation of the Alien Enemies Act was a joke. Shipping people like El Salvador has just been a giant L. All of the court fights where they're hiding information from
How would you
judges.
like this administration to actually deport the illegal immigrants that came in the country with no legitimate asylum case in the last 3.5 years?
I think that increasing the amount of judges available to adjudicate the asylum cases so we can work through the backlog quicker, I think would be good. So you can find the legitimate cases and just ship them out as quickly as possible. I think a reformation of the asylum seeking process is essential. It's too easy to just sneak into the country, claim asylum, and then get a catch and release receipt and stay here for 3 years. I think
You
that
don't have this luxury when you have 15,000 people coming into the country illegally every single day.
then pass legislation to change the way that you process people on the border.
I'll ask you the question again. Do you think that you can do exactly what you said while you have 15,000
You can do both at the same time, yes.
You can do both at the same
Yeah.
time. So how are you
legislation.
How are you going to deter the illegal immigrants from coming up to the southern border from all over the world while also reforming the immigration law?
Well, part of the bill was literally capping the amount of people that were allowed to come in such that you could turn people away even if they were
And
claiming
that would
asylum.
stop illegal immigrants from all over the world from wanting to come up to the southern border.
Everybody's going to want to come here. What do you mean?
No, well, suddenly we don't have everybody wanting to come up to the southern border. We don't see these.
If there was a cap on the amount of people coming in, then it would stop people from wanting
So
to
you're
come.
saying,
They would have done the numbers. Yes.
if they were, okay, 5,000 people can come into the country every day illegally. After that, we cap it. You think that people from all over the world suddenly stop to come?
Yeah, because the amount of people that would come in would be significantly increased. Yes.
So, I mean, that's a hypothesis. But the reality of it, if you look at it objectively, is that we have a president that came in and enforced U.S. Code 1325, which criminalizes illegal entry to the United States. Does not allow the asylum 1158 to be prioritized for that. And that deters migrants from wanting to come into the border because when they think about an administration that will actually enforce the rule of law, they're not going to be wanting to come up to the southern border. No,
Just to be clear, there is no conflict between.
What is zero
no
tolerance
conflict-
policy deter migrants from completely wanting to enter the country?
There's no conflict between U.S. law and the asylum seeking process. The asylum seeking process was completely legal. That's why it needs to be reformed because it was being abused.
I agree with that.
Okay. So to say that we finally had a person who came in and enforced USC on whatever 1813, I don't know the immigration.
25, the illegal
Sure.
entry into the
Yeah,
United States.
like-
Why did the previous administration do
The
that?
previous administration was doing that, but you can't just kick people out who are claiming asylum because that was the law on the books.
So you allow individuals to come into the country illegally, say that they're seeking asylum, detain them for 48 hours, and then put them on a plane
But
to
the
go
thing
where?
is, you don't
Where-
know. You
where
don't
do
know.
put them on a
Hold
plane
on,
to
what
go?
you just said is you don't know
Where
if
do
they're
you put
coming in
them?
illegally. If
They're
they're claiming
running
asylum,
to
you
a
have to adjudicate the case.
They're running into a border patrol agent after they didn't enter the country through a port of entry. What is that?
Well, if you claim asylum, it's part of the asylum seeking process.
I don't care about that. When they enter
If you don't
the
care about the
country-
law, then we're talking about two
That's
different
not what I'm
things.
asking you. When
If
they
you come into
enter
the country between a port of entry and you claim
I'll
asylum,
ask you
that's part of
again.
the process.
When they didn't enter the country through the port of entry, what kind of crossing is that?
Depends on what their intention was. For
I don't
coming
care
here.
about their intention.
Well, the law literally calls intention
I'm
out. The one that you were
asking
citing
you
said
right
the
now.
intention is pretty important. Do you want my personal opinion, like moral opinion, or do you want the law?
I don't care what you provide me. I'm asking you.
How can you ask me two totally they're different questions? Do you care about the law or do you care what my
I
opinion
guess
is?
both. I don't know.
I mean, my opinion would align with the law. If you come here, like, meaningfully and intentionally trying to seek asylum because you feel like you have a legitimate case, I think it's fine.
Do you think 10 million of them had a legitimate asylum case in
Absolutely
3 years?
not.
Okay. So what are they doing? They're gaming the system, right?
Yes, of course. That's what I've said. Yes,
Right.
for this entire conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to figure out a way to make them stop gaming the system.
Okay.
If it was just a matter of enforcing the law, we wouldn't have needed an executive order from Trump to do it, right?
Again, I kind of want to just circle back to how were we able to deter so many illegal immigrants from coming into the country without actually doing that, without fixing the asylum process, without any policy, without zero tolerance being implemented whatsoever.
If you want to do a crappy job, then you can half-ass it like Trump did by just being stricter on the border, but it's not addressing anywhere from 5 to 15 million people get different numbers for how many are here right now on the asylum seeking process.
You care about the secondary issue because no longer is a Democrat administration. You wouldn't be doing that if it was the previous
I would be.
administration.
That's why I supported Biden when he wanted to pass the bill that would have addressed both issues.
Did you care about it in 2022? Where we were at like heights?
It was hard to say after 2022 what
What about
exactly was.
2023, early 2023? Because that bill didn't get introduced till early 2024.
Sure, there were a lot of other things going on. Inflation was our huge issue that we were fighting against at that point.
Yeah, but we still had a crisis at the southern border.
So
we
you
had
say-
15. I mean, we have 15,000 people coming in every single
What's
day.
the crisis? How is it affecting us? Where do we see that?
I want you to go to New York City, Chicago,
No, I want you to
Denver.
tell me where is. I've been to
about
New York City and Chicago in the past 3 months. So
If
tell
you
me
finish
where.
letting me, I promise, right? You just handle yourself a little bit. We'll get through it. if you go to New York City and you talk to non-traditional Republicans who are definitely not some pro-Trumpers or protests or whatever the case is, they go to city council meetings and lay it to the city council members, the mayors, whatever it is. Why?
This is what they've been calling conservative news. So tell me, so you mean like what's happening?
Non-traditional Republican cultists are being brainwashed by like Fox News, by Charlie
Whatever
Kirk.
AI videos that they see, by people like Charlie Kirk, or whatever AI videos they see on Instagram or TikTok.
All right, this is Vic, and I got to say, this guy's arguments are bullshit. He's not laying out facts. He's not laying out data. He's saying go to a big city somewhere and talk to Republicans, and that's his argument. Are you kidding me?
You lost the previous election. You lost every single battleground state because you do this thing. You say that illegal immigration is not a problem because
The same president lost the election in 2020, so I mean,
I agree with that.
So I don't know
if you're going to have a gotcha moment on me. You lost the election in 2020.
You're saying I think we lost the election on inflation. I think that was the big issue.
What was number one, number two?
I don't really care what it polls on. I know people vote on the economy. They say illegal immigration. I think that the thing was
this is the classic thing that you rejected, and then once you see that you don't have any room to reject it anymore, you say, yeah, it's happening, but it's not that bad actually.
I don't know, you're shadow boxing right now, but no, I'm always like pretty critical of polling data. Like when you poll people on questions, like they're giving you answers and they mean different things depending on what you're looking at. I think that's a big issue on this election was inflation. You saw it in basically governments around the entire world. I think everyone was kind of upset about the inflation over the coronavirus period.
Well, the number two issue consistently for American voters for over a year was immigration.
And it's crazy that all of the complaints about that seem to disappear as soon as Trump came into office, despite the fact that he hasn't really deported he hasn't deported anybody from all of the asylum seekers. That's fine, but I think that all these people we hear that were a problem.
What happened in the first month, Destiny? What happened in the first month?
Nothing happened
when it came down
to
to
the 10 million people that are here
on the southern border.
Nothing happened when it came to the people that were
Nothing happened. I don't care about the people that are already here. That is something that we're going to have to
the game we're going to play on
the
this. I'll
reform
keep repeating
process.
myself.
You want to avoid what happened in the first month of President Trump's presidency and second term when it came time to immigration. That's fine. I don't have a problem talking to you about your lives, your proceedings, what comes up to deportation, and how they handle deportation. You can avoid it. I didn't avoid it at all. Trump shut down the border. He managed to stop people coming in, but nothing's been done about all the people here. I don't think anything will be done about the people here. And you wanted a bill, a bipartisan bill. Because the bill would accomplish both of those things. Both halves of Congress already supported it. Trump shot it down because he said, I want to keep the election. Trump called the congressman and said, hey, you could pass this because I'll get the election. Yep. You don't think that House Republicans... No, Ted Cruz explicitly said this. Paul said as much. Langford complained about this. You don't think that congressional Republicans have their own mind and say, oh, you know what, that actually doesn't deter immigrants from
This guy is actually arguing that congressional Republicans make up their own mind after the Trump tax, aka Big Beautiful Bullshit bill, was just rammed through.
You don't think Trump has ejected ever-Trumpers from the ads, but it's happened all the time. Not all the time, but that's a political calculation now that you have to keep in mind that if you try to go against Trump, that happens when the cultists left, right? Absolutely not. I mean, why did they go to blocks on every single thing? I mean, blocks on every single thing. This previous administration, how many times did they have effective senators up to Do you think that there is more partisanship on the left or more partisanship on the Republicans? Can you tell me? I think the Republicans are the black voters right now. Okay. So in the previous administration, the Republicans worked with congressional Democrats and the previous president passed whatever bills, like is Biden making an Inflation Reduction Act for example? Or the work with them? Yeah. Okay. So why do you think it's opposite when it's a Republican president? Why do Democrats refuse to work whatsoever? It's not the trouble. Democrats would go out of their way to negotiate with other senators and House members in the House. Yeah, you can laugh, but I mean, like, there's a reason why Republicans don't even try. Republicans don't even try to negotiate with the Democrats. The only thing that can afford to is when this passed CR, because they knew that they wouldn't be able to pass everything the Democrats want. Because Democrats don't want to work with Republicans. It's as simple as that. First time in all of U.S. history, Republicans couldn't even hold on to their majority.
This guy's been smoking his own
It
weed.
was the whole McCarthy debacle and the majority house. That's what happens when you roll with the majority. You have no. You have that's not what happens. That was the first time in U.S. history. You have various, which I love about the Republican Party. I love the failure to govern. I love the fact that there are various ideologies in the Republican Party. Unlike on your side, you have ultra progressives and you have. It's true. I mean, that's honest. That's why you guys can pass comprehensive
Biden passed so much massive legislation here.
You know, if this is the best the right has to offer for debaters, maybe I need to start my own debate channel.
I mean, I was in the American Rescue Plan helped us significantly come out of the stuff. I think that the Inflation Reduction Act was nice to pass a bill that essentially makes sense. That was nice. Compared to Trump passing tax cuts and just correct the budget more and more every single time he's in office. It's nice. Trump tax cuts and jobs act. Overwhelmingly wealthy people, but by giving them a greater absolute reduction in the amount of income that they have to pay to the federal government, rest matters. The way the law is written, you have more than IRS data. I don't know about IRS data, but the IRS data. Okay, so we had the 2017 jobs act, tax cuts and jobs act. I think that really is
Okay, you guys saying that you can't hear. I took the thing off the mic. Is that helping?
Like comprehensively, I know the next bracket, I think
individuals earning between $15,000 and $20,000 a year, which ranges to 26%, $15,000 tax. But it's really good question. Higher down, lower income.
so for the bottom people, they can already are. But even for real basic tax on the bottom, if you're making $15,000 for tax. Sure, that's fine, but I'm saying figure out money saved, like
All right, folks. I'm seeing the comments. Nobody can hear. And quite frankly, you're not really missing a lot. Maybe I can find somebody to talk to. Let's see. Check this out. No, it's not a fault, not at all. How are they? I gotta find something to talk to. Come on. Let me try these two gentlemen. We having fun yet?
Yeah, I'm having fun right now.
Yeah? You care if...
Oh, hi.
Are you...
I'm good. I'm good with
No? Yeah. I wouldn't want to try and offend him either. Everybody's clearing out, babe. There are hardly any people left. All right. I'm going to call it for now. I'll see you guys later at our event later. How do I turn this thing off?